Auburn football is currently a disaster. When they decided to move on from Bryan Harsin after going 9-12 across a season and a half, they hoped their next head coaching hire would turn the program around and make them a contender in the new SEC. The man they decided to hire instead continued to run the program into the ground and is sitting at 8-10 as head coach, 5 games through year 2. This is the disaster that is Auburn football. This is the state of their program. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know how you feel about the current state of Auburn football in the comment section below. When Auburn decided to pay Gus Malzahn $21.7 million to walk away, the reason behind the decision was the regression of their offense. Malzahn was the offensive coordinator for the school's 2010 national title and led them to the BCS title game in his first year as head coach. Once defenses figured out how to stop Malzahn's offense, though, Gus refused to evolve. Although they went 10-4 in 2017, 8-5 in 2018, and 9-4 in 2019, followed by a 6-4 season in 2020, Malzahn was axed. They decided to bring in Boise State head coach Bryan Harsin and seemingly never gave him a chance. Following a 6-7 season, the university basically set up a witch hunt trying to get him removed without needing to pay his buyout. The university launched an investigation into his handling of the program. The inquiry came after a number of players and coaches left during the offseason. Auburn ultimately cleared Harsin, who later called it a personal attack that didn't work. Harsin started off his second season 2-0, but a 1-5 stretch after that would lead to his firing. He was 9-12 as head coach. It didn't matter that Harsin was 69-19 at Boise State. Auburn fans and their new athletic director didn't want him. The man they chose to hire to replace him was the snake oil salesman himself, Hugh Freeze. Hugh Freeze went 39-25 as head coach at Ole Miss and 19-21 in SEC play, but had most of those wins vacated due to NCAA violations. What built his resume was 2 huge upset wins over Alabama, an appearance in the Peach Bowl in 2014, and a victory in the Sugar Bowl in 2015. Following the NCAA investigations, Freeze decided to step down and disappeared from college football for a few years before being hired to be Liberty's head football coach. There, Freeze went 34-15, winning 3 bowl games and most notably going 10-1 in 2020 with quarterback Malik Willis. Ironically, Liberty went undefeated during the regular season the year after Freeze left and made a New Year's Six Bowl which they got destroyed in. When Freeze was hired, there was a group of fans that were pissed about him being the choice because of his checkered past. During his opening press conference, he said, "But that's all you gotta ask is, man, give us a chance to earn your trust, and I think you'll like the end result." Auburn gave Freeze a 6-year contract worth at least $6.5 million annually, making him the 8th highest paid coach in the SEC. The buyout, if Freeze is fired without cause, would be 75% of his remaining contract. Year 1 saw Auburn finish 6-7 just like Harsin did in year 1 himself. They almost beat Alabama and Georgia, but fell short in the end. They also got embarrassed losing to New Mexico State in a blowout fashion at home. It was a strange up and down season, but there was some hope they could have a winning season this year. With Robbie Ashford transferring to South Carolina, the quarterback job stayed with incumbent Peyton Thorne, and while there was a lot of hope this year, that quickly turned into anguish, as Auburn could have their worst season since Gene Chizik went 3-9 in 2012, which led to his firing. The past few weeks have not been kind to Auburn football or their fans. Following their shocking loss to Cal 21-14 at home, Hugh Freeze decided to bench senior Peyton Thorne and instead start redshirt freshman Hank Brown after Thorne threw 4 interceptions to 1 touchdown against Cal. Against New Mexico, Brown looked good, throwing for 235 yards and 4 touchdowns, completing 68% of his passes, and it seemed like Freeze might have found his quarterback of the future. But then reality hit, as Brown would throw 3 interceptions and only threw for 72 yards, heading into halftime against Arkansas before being benched in favor of Thorne. Thorne finished the Arkansas game throwing for 213 yards, 2 touchdowns and an interception himself, in Auburn's 24-14 loss to the Razorbacks. Following the loss, Freeze decided to deflect the blame onto his 2 quarterbacks, rather than take any blame himself, telling the media, "I know that there's people open, and I know that we're running the football well. We've got to find a guy that won't throw it to the other team, and we got to find running backs that'll hold on to it." This was the second time he put his quarterbacks on blast that day, as during halftime he told Auburn Radio, I gotta find a quarterback that doesn't turn the frickin' ball over. We got receivers running open and we're throwing it to the other team. The crazy thing is, Freeze chose to bring both Thorne and Brown to Auburn. These aren't Bryan Harsin or previous regime guys. Thorne arrived via the transfer portal from Michigan State, and Brown was a part of the 2023 high school recruiting class. Freeze made headlines in the spring when he said he couldn't bring himself to spend $1 million on a transfer quarterback to supplant Thorne. Following the Arkansas game, former Ole Miss quarterback, who played for Freeze, Bo Wallace, went off on his former ball coach, saying on Twitter, "We're approaching the point that he's thrown so many quarterbacks under the bus that maybe no one wants to play for him. His offense helped me tremendously put numbers up when I blew my shoulder out. But why is it someone else's fault every time there's a loss? But when there's a win, I watch the press conference just to count how many times the word I is used. Appreciate what he did for me. My son wouldn't be playing for him though." Wallace was Freeze's quarterback at Ole Miss from 2012 to 2014, a period which saw an iconic home win over Alabama and a Peach Bowl appearance in 2014. This came following a time when Wallace called his former ball coach a top 5 play caller and a great culture builder last November. Wallace went on to say, following the Razorback game, "Do your research on his offenses, excluding his time at Liberty. Look at the interceptions every quarterback he's had play for him throws. At some point when it happens over and over every year, you look in the mirror, not at the players to save face." Also following the Arkansas game, Freeze said that if they played that game 10 times, Auburn would have won 9 of those matchups. Heading into their game against Oklahoma, Freeze decided to give Thorne back the starting quarterback job, and Thorne looked to have his mojo back starting the game, completing 9 of his 14 passes for 171 yards and 2 touchdowns, with those 2 touchdowns coming on a 48-yard strike and a 31-yard strike. Up 14-7, our college football group chat was blowing up with King Kumar telling us we had to put some respect on his friend Peyton's name. In the fourth quarter, up by 2 scores, Auburn got an important stop. After a 22-yard run by Jarquez Hunter, ESPN had the Tigers' chance of winning at 97.4%. But then Auburn would miss a field goal to make it a 14-point lead, giving Oklahoma the ball, who drove down the field quickly with Hawkins finding J.J. Hester for a huge gain. Oklahoma would score but failed the 2-point conversion to make it 21-16 with 8 minutes left. Rather than just running the ball, Auburn decided to keep it in the air, and Thorne made a grave mistake throwing a pick 6 on 3rd and 4 just outside field goal range with 4 minutes left in the game. Thorne would be sacked on 3rd and 4 with 2 minutes left, and Oklahoma would kick a late field goal with 58 seconds left to win 27-21. Auburn outgained Oklahoma 482 to 281 yards, held an advantage in the passing department with 338 yards to 161 yards, and earned 15 more first downs. After the game, Freeze spoke to the media on what Auburn should have done up 2 scores. Run the football and take so much off the clock as we can up 2 scores. That possession stands out for sure, and we should have had 10 points more in the first half. We gotta do a better job of making sure our kids get points in those situations. Protecting the football around and the clock is a priority, and we didn't handle it very well. We outgained Arkansas last week by a good amount. Today also. We're not winning football games. We've got to do something different to win these games, and when you're able to produce the yards we are. We're not producing the points that should come with that to assist the defense. Auburn football seems to be in a free fall right now. After starting the season with 5 straight home games, going 2-3 in those games, mind you, and 0-3 against power conference teams, they have a gauntlet of a schedule to finish out the year. They travel to number 5 Georgia this week for their first road test, followed by their bye week before road trips to both number 9 Missouri and Kentucky, followed by hosting Vanderbilt, who's playing better than past years, Louisiana Monroe, and number 25 Texas A&M, and ending the season on the road against number 1 Alabama and Tuscaloosa. There are maybe 2 or 3 possible wins remaining on their schedule, meaning Auburn is probably going to miss a bowl game for the second time in 3 years. The last time that happened, they fired their coach 8 games into that season. Auburn has not had a winning season since 2020 and a respectable record since 2019 under Gus Malzahn when they went 9-4. Freeze is supposed to be known as a quarterback whisperer, and even Cockley said that during his opening press conference, telling the press back when he was hired, "I do think I have a gift to help develop quarterbacks. I think we could turn it around fairly fast with the new world we're in." In Freeze's 7 seasons as an SEC coach, his quarterbacks have tallied 96 interceptions. 7 games remaining this season. Thorne has regressed since getting to Auburn, and Brown does not seem to be even ready after redshirting last year. Recruiting has improved, but quarterback development in Auburn under Freeze remain a mystery. All we have gotten is excuse after excuse from Freeze, though it does look like Freeze will still have a job come 2025, even if they go 3-9 and 4-8, with athletic director John Cohen showing his support this weekend, saying, "I believe in the way we're recruiting. I believe in what's going on in our locker room right now. And I think we're in a better position now, honestly, than I thought we were going to be in 2 years ago." I don't know if Cohen is trying to keep his job as well, though, or save face. But with that statement, Alabama fans are laughing at Auburn right now, as is most of the college football world. The program looks to be going in the wrong direction, and I don't see a third season under Freeze fixing that, especially if they start losing recruits left and right with how bad they are playing, and Freeze lacking the ability to take accountability himself. What do you think? How do you feel about the state of the Auburn football program? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.